Video INFORMATIONEPISOD4AIRDAT 31 March 2015 The computer's primary teacher Colin the computer other teachers Gilbert the Globe a previous episode in single quote T hug me I'm scared 3 NEXT episode in single quote T hug me I'm scared 5 DVLOPMENT staff writer Becky Sloan, Joe Pelling, Baker tour director Becky Sloan, Joe Pelling. In this episode the gang learn why computers are such an important part of modern life. On single quote T hug me I'm scared website and single quote T hug me I'm scared 4, also referred to by its episode name Computers, is the 4th episode of the Don't Hug Me I'm Scared web series. It was filmed on the 21st of February, and it aired on YouTube on the 31st of March 2015. The teacher of this episode is a computer. This episode was dedicated to Julie Crosby. The episode opens with the characters sitting around the table playing a card game, and Red Guy gets a question that requires knowledge about the world. Yellow Guy proposes a few answers until Duck rudely shouts at him. Then Red Guy, and later Duck, try to set up the reveal of Gilbert the Globe, who is standing at the side of the room. However, just as he was about to start the lesson, a computer called Colin interrupted him and started the lesson instead, singing about himself. Red Guy attempts to get Colin to answer the question regarding their card game but is ignored. Colin then proceeds to discuss how useful and clever he is and asks many questions about the puppet's personal information such as what's your name? Where do you live? And what do you like to eat? Duck and Yellow Guy answer the latter two questions respectively, and when Red Guy is about to answer the first question, he gets interrupted by Colin before he could reveal his name. Red Guy gets annoyed by Colin and tries to quiet him by first telling him that they already have a computer, then asks him to stop talking, and finally, smashing his keyboard. Colin gets enraged by Red Guy touching him and shouts at Red Guy, and the entire screen becomes filled with static and glitches out for a couple of seconds. Gilbert makes a cameo during this, as well as possibly reveals his voice. The puppets are then sucked into Colin's digital world that is made out of numbers and code. Colin proceeds to teach the puppets about avatars inside of it that are controlled by a real person. Red Guy finds this amazing and interesting and asks the computer what you can do in the digital world. After a long pause, Colin says that there are about 3 things to do in the digital world: look at graphs, flaunt one's digital style, and partake in digital dancing. Yellow Guy and Duck are excited about this, but Red Guy appears to be bored. As time goes on, the lesson starts to become repetitive and extremely glitchy, and the camera starts to zoom in on Red Guy as if coming from the computer screen. When Red Guy looks away from the screen, he sees that his friends are missing and realizes that they have been sucked inside the digital world. He starts to hit buttons to try to get them out while Duck and Yellow Guy virtually appear with their brains exposed. Red Guy then notices a red wire coming from the computer and starts to follow it to the door. Meanwhile, in the virtual world, the digital dancing continues and a virtual Red Guy is standing in the virtual world next to a door. Suddenly the scene breaks to what appears to be a low-budget recreation of the first episode, and Red Guy opens the door and wears a motion tracking suit and is surprised both about what he sees in the room and by the fact that he suddenly is wearing a motion tracking suit. The low-budget remake contains a balloon man with a tape recorder strapped to it as the Yellow Guy counterpart, a red mop with eyes as a counterpart of Red Guy, an actual duck as the counterpart of Duck Guy, and a box of oats as the counterpart of Sketchbook, all while being filmed by a camera with googly eyes, somewhat similar to the one from the first episode, which is connected to the computer through the red wire. The red mop and oats are both operated by a person in a white suit, and the tape recorder is heard saying phrases from previous episodes before uttering "You are not invited to the party." Then a person in a black suit appears and closes a clapperboard in front of the camera while Red Guy lets out a surprised "Wait, what?" and his head explodes in glitter. The credits roll over what appears to be Colin's computer screen. Due to Becky Sloan saying we are having to push our shoot date back until mid-February, it made a lot of people believe that was when it was going to be released. Unlike the previous episodes, there was no indication that the events in this episode were a hallucination, TV show, or a dream. Many boxes of oats appear throughout the episode, possibly as a reference to subliminal advertising on the internet. towards the end of the puppets being taken into the digital world, you can hear what resembles the music from the first episode when the puppets were changing. This is the third time that the puppets were computer animated. The grid on Colin's screen is the same as the grid of the speakers at 2:07 in the second episode. This is the second time Yellow Guy looks into a mirror, although this time it's his digital self. After Colin mentions time, Duck shockingly replies time, implying he remembers the events of the second episode. Duck's digital style of the fifth iteration can barely be seen through Red Guy's door, and he appears to be wearing a blue coat and has pink spiky hair. At the climax of the episode, Red Guy appears in the digital world both as himself and as a red wig on the floor. Red Guy is represented as a red triangle, Yellow Guy as a yellow circle, and Duck as a green square on the computer. This looks somewhat similar to another project by Becky Sloan called Selfridge's Window Display, wherein a red triangle and a yellow circle appeared. When the room goes dark, Roy can be seen standing in the corner of the room. The printer also appears to be a character. After the skip digital style line, you can closely see Duck with green-pink cones. The squares on the corners of the board game are similar to Colin's eyes but with a red outline. The teapot from episode 1 appears in the digital world. The clown painting from the first episode appears twice in the digital world. A statue of Malcolm can be seen in this episode. The three puppets can be seen on the milk carton with the word missing on it, possibly referring to the help videos. The number 7 is the only number that doesn't smile in the digital world. Coincidentally, 7 is also referred to as the funnest number in the puppets. Colin's screen is used as the background for the ending credits. The newspaper has the date the 19th of June, and when Colin says "and then I tell you the time," he displays a clock with 19:06 on his screen. When Colin asks what is your favorite color, he shows them the colors red, blue, and yellow. Before this, the printer is seen with buttons in the same 3 colors, and later, in the digital world, there are 3 doors with the same colors, and, during the digital dancing, 3 music notes have the same colors. Note that he also doesn't provide them a green option. At 3:30 there are at least 2 other doors behind a red guy with another red guy and Colin dancing. During Duck's 4th iteration of things to do in the digital world, the cowboy outfit, a horse, appears in the background. There is a red wire in the real world that is coming from the computer and goes through the keyhole of the door, and one in the digital world coming from Colin going to a virtual door. As both the real and virtual red guy open the door, it is unsure whether which of them, or both, were the one to walk into the low-budget recreation of the first episode. The low-budget recreation also contains the images of a clock that has the same clock face as Tony, and a painting from the second episode that also contains a horse. The oats on the table probably refer to the current episode. When Red Guy's head explodes, gold glitter, amongst other things, come out of his head. The song used in this video, the computer song, can be purchased on iTunes. 2. As of June 2025, the episode has 37 million views and 605k likes. Directors Joseph Pelling, Becky Sloan. Creators Becky Sloan, Joseph Pelling. Writers Becky Sloan, Joseph Pelling. Baker Terry. Executive Producers James Stevenson, Bertone, Joseph Pelling. Thomas Tomska, Ridgewell. Becky Sloan. Producers Hugo Don Kinban Lally. Composers Joseph Pelling. Cinematographers Edward Tucker. Art Directors Joseph Pelling, Becky Sloan. Art Department Richard Henley, Katie Milner, Jack Needell, Jen Newman, Rose Popham. Becky Sloan. Antonia Trister, Stephanie Young, Rebecca Weston. Sound Department Joseph Pelling. Camera Assistant Bolwell, Gaffer Mike's House, Ted Electrician Jr. Agyamana Wasu. Projection Charlie Pelling. Animators Gustav Geir Lindstrom, Joseph Pelling. Benwili Animation Design Jack Sachs Animation Director Theo Nunji. Animators Gustav Geir Lindstrom, Theo Nunn, Joseph Pelling. Jack Sachs Benwili. Special thanks Lenny Ellis, Daniel Haddock, Christine Hooper, Robert Bryce, Melbourne, Margot Solantham, Stuart Burke, Yates Rain. Dedicated to Julie Crosby. The voice on the recorder is Daniel, UK, a text-to-speech voice. References Becky and Joe, the computer song, single, iTunes.